Hi VC, get back again. It's quite late now, but I was watching some. I made the mistake of watching some YouTube videos before I went to bed, and I ended up watching somebody, can't remember who it is, ranking songs of the White Album in order. And as I watched it, I thought, what? Really? Nah. So I immediately had to dig out my copy of the White Album, listen to it, and then rank them myself. So I've just finished listening to the whole thing, and I just had to do this. It was something that I just felt that if I don't do it now, I'll never do it, and it's something I really needed to do. But before we get off and start on what is an odyssey of an album, if you listen to the whole thing through in one go, it is just so eclectic, so all over the place. So much stripped down rock and roll. There's like acoustic wonderment. There's just beautiful songs. There's rubbish. Some tracks, oh my god. I mean, when I listen to the album, I never skip any tracks at all. Not any of them. No matter how much I may think that they're just not up to the rest of the Beatles output, it's the White Album. You have to listen to it all the way through. But I actually own 2 copies of this. There's the one I listen to all the time, which is this one. It's an 80s reissue. I think it was the 80s. I'm pretty sure I got it during the 80s sometime. Got the embossed Beatles down there. Because the album is really called The Beatles. Even though half the time it wasn't the Beatles. It was just whoever turned up who hadn't got peed off with the rest of them. And so that's the one I tend to listen to. And then I've got this copy, which was originally my mum's copy. And this is an original 68 pressing. I don't know whether you can see, is that in focus? There we go. It is pressing, it is record number 18,413. So this is quite a low numbered pressing. It's a bit beaten up. My mum didn't exactly take massively brilliant care of it, but it's complete. It's got all the pictures, it's got the poster, it's also got a scratch on. I think it's long. I think one day I might have a go at repairing it and see if I can make it play without skipping, but at the moment it's got the skip. I've never had the balls to actually just get something to it to try and make it, but this is just, I'm never going to part with this one. You know, even if, no, I'm never going to part with this one. This is just one of those records you just want to kiss, because I've had it for such a long time. And probably the White Album is one of the records I first heard, to be honest, because it was knocking around. You need something visual, because this could just be a very long talking head video. So what I'm going to do is, from my 80s copy, as I'm just going to hold up the random pictures of who wrote each song, as far as I can remember. I'm bound to make a mistake somewhere along the line, because it's pretty boring looking at a white square for however long this takes. I'm going to rattle through it. Hopefully it won't take too long. I've already spent 4 minutes. The picture of Ringo is only going to be held up for one song, but, well, there you go. Right, so the first song up, and I've got to hold up a picture of this guy. Yes, it's a Macca song. It's Honey Pie. Oh my god. Oh god, if there's one song that I really want to skip on this record, is Honey Pie. I really dislike it. It is just the worst. It seems to presage a lot of his 80s output, and later just dire 80s output a lot of the time. Although I do own Pipes of Peace, and there are some really good songs on that. But Honey Pie, please. Then we've got another Paul song at 29. It's Rocky Raccoon. It's piffle. I'm sorry, but it's piffle. I mean, alright, it's probably better than 95% of recorded music ever made, but it's still, compared to the rest of their output, it is piffle. That man again at 28. Obladi oblada. Oh, God. My ex-partner always, whenever, she knows I love the Beatles, and whenever she wanted to have a go, not have a go, but point out their shortcomings, there was one song that she always picked on, and that was Obladi Oblada, because it is just bloody awful. What is it with McCartney doing some of these songs? I'm sure people, I know I've seen people put Obladi Oblada at the top of their lists ranking this album, but I think it is just abysmal. Right. Did he write? I think he wrote this one as well. 27, I might be wrong. 27, his birthday. If you've ever been to the Hard Rock Cafe, ever, then you're going to hear that song at least 5 or 6 times every time. It's just repetitive drivel. Yeah, it's quite cheerful, but honestly, it's drivel. I actually used to really like it before I ever ventured inside a hard rock, but now I just can't take it seriously anymore. It's just right. So we're down to 26. Now we finally got one from somebody else, and it's from Mr. Lennon. Yeah, Your Blues. Sorry, but this was just lazy. Your Blues is just lazy. It's just taken it's a pastiche, and they do more than one pastiche on this album, of those late 60s British blues boom bands. It just, I mean, it was probably meant as a joke. It must have been meant as a joke, because you can't take it seriously. But it's not a good song. It's not a brilliant song. Yeah, Your Blues is just right. Now, who's responsible for this one? You see, I've never been that good. I'm not an anal retentive Beatles fan. Now, I'm not sure who's responsible for the next one. It might be him, but it might be him. Somebody tell me. But it's Wild Honey Pie. It's okay. It's okay, actually. We're getting to the realms of the okay now. There's a few okay songs, and the rest of them are just marvels, to be honest. It's pleasant enough. It's a bit experimental. I way prefer it to any of the other songs so far. It's definitely a leap up. Next up, yeah, John again, Revolution 9. I can listen to it all the way through very, very easily, and I find every time I do listen to it, I'm always finding something new in it. Just different noises, different sounds, the way things merge and like stuck together. I just find it quite entertaining to listen to it. Obviously, Goons inspired part of it. The way that he uses a lot of, well, both McCartney and Lennon both use different voices and lots of random sounds. So, yeah, Revolution 9, yeah, it's alright. Right. Oh God, it's him again. I know I like Lennon better than McCartney, but McCartney wrote some brilliant, brilliant songs, but there's just so many of them down the bottom end of this. Why Don't We Do It in the Road is at 23. Just lazy. Another lazy song. What can you say about it? It's just, why don't we do it in the road? Well, go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Anyway, right, the only appearance of this chap, there we go, Number 22 is Don't Pass Me By. It's a fun song, it's a nice song, it's pleasant enough. Drums are ploddy. This and some of the other Ringo drumming on here is where Jeff Lynne got his idea of what Beatles drums should sound like, I think. Not good drumming, but it's a pleasant enough song. It's a shame because some of Ringo's drumming on this album is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I know he didn't actually drum on back in the USSR or Dear Prudence, but some of his drumming is just fantastic on this record. And he was the kind of glue that held. He seemed to be the kind of glue that held everything together. The only reason he's not on the first two tracks is because he walked out for however long it was. But yeah, Don't Pass Me By is good. Right, 21. Sexy Sadie. It's not a record it's not a song that I've ever really connected with. It's fine as it is. It's obviously John getting his anger off his chest about the Maharishi. But it's not a song I've ever really connected with. It's fine as it is. Fine as it is. There we go. Right, where are we? Inside the top 20. Marcos, I Will. Now we're getting into the good stuff now. The really good stuff. I mean, to be honest, it's a really difficult ranking the rest of the songs, to be honest. But I Will is such a pretty little song. And the lyrics, I've quoted them to girlfriends in the past, and I've used them to write in cards because they're perfect. Maybe they're superior greetings card lyrics. That does it down, doesn't it? But the words are actually beautiful on I Will. Just getting that feeling across. It's obviously a love song to Linda, but it's a universal love song. And yeah, absolutely adore it. Actually, probably should have been higher, but there's so many good songs coming up later. Right, number 19. Right, it's the first appearance of this chap. Not that one. That one. George's song, Long, Long, Long. I mean, it's a great song, but it's got to go somewhere. It's just not as good as the other songs, his other songs on this album. I mean, he had 4 songs. Was it 4 songs? 4 songs. Basically, because Lennon and McCartney was so bloody greedy. I mean, take Honey Pie off and put something by Harrison on, and it just improves the album no end. So Long, Long, Long. Kind of a song of long. Kind of a song of long. Yeah, that's bloody obvious, isn't it? Yeah, it's nice. I like it. Now I think this is another song. I'm not sure who actually wrote it. I think it's John. Good Night. The song that rounds off the album. Now it's a cheese fest. It is totally a cheese fest, but it shouldn't be. Underneath all that, those strings and harmonies is sugary. It's sugary as heck. But underneath all that is a beautiful lullaby. And in fact, I used to sing that to my daughter as a lullaby to get her to sleep. It is a gorgeous song, and if somebody did a stripped back acoustic version, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So yeah, number 18 is Good Night. Number 17, and mainly because of its position in the album probably, is George's Piggies. It's just most of the songs leading up to Piggies, where Piggies is on the album, are very guitar, drums and bass. There's not much other instrumentation going on, apart from Wild Honey Pie. But all of a sudden you've got Piggies coming in, and yeah, the lyrics are gauche and they're a bit clumsy, with what he's trying to get across. But you've got some gorgeous keyboard work on there. I'm not sure who played it, but just absolutely gorgeous keyboard work on there. It's just really brings the song alive compared to what's gone before, which is probably why I've rated it as high as I have done. 16. There we go. Mother Nature's Son. I think this was the song that surprised me the most on listening to it this time. I think I've kind of overlooked it unjustly for a long time. It's a splendid song, absolutely splendid song. I just wish that Paul had written more songs like that for this album. Just fantastic song. It is fantastic. Excellent song. Right. At number 15, it's George again, with While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Now, people rate this as one of the best songs on the album, and it's a brilliant song. Don't get me wrong, it's brilliant. I mean, you know, we're talking about the creme de la creme here. But there's something about it that doesn't quite gel. It doesn't, I don't know. I mean, a lot of what's written about this song is that the Beatles are on their best the rest of the Beatles, well, John and Paul were on their best behaviour because Eric Clapton was in the studio doing his guitar bits, and it just doesn't seem as free and easy. What I really like about the White Album is that kind of looseness about it. You know, you've got silly voices at the end of tracks, you've got laughter, you've got clapping, rounds of applause, you've got all kinds of stuff going on. It's a very loosely recorded album, probably deliberately so. But I don't know, for me, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, it's a fantastic song, but it's not quite there with some of the other highlights for me. But it's still, I mean, we're talking about While My Guitar Gently Weeps here. I mean, it's still a brilliant song. Right. 14. Actually, I was surprised. Martha, My Dear. The biggest surprise I've had on this listen is Martha, My Dear. Now, I was surprised by, what was it? I Will? Mother Nature's Son. But Martha, My Dear, I mean, it's supposedly written about his dog, but it is joyous, absolutely joyous. Just another beautiful Paul song. And when he gets in his groove and he writes these beautiful, beautiful songs, you can't touch him. You really can't touch him. And he definitely ain't getting it there. It's just superb. Right. Number 13 is Glass Onion. What I like about Glass Onion is it's just it's so self-referential. It's just John writing about being John and being in the Beatles. And I think if sampling had been available in '68, he would have run riot with it on Glass Onion, probably to the detriment of the song, because it is a cracking song. But yeah, Glass Onion. So that was number 13. Number 12 is Savoy Truffle. Now, on the face of it, it's a silly song, really. But musically, it's brilliant. I love the way the horns come in on it, and I just think it's so catchy. Supposedly, I've heard it's written about smack and all kinds of things, but it could well be a barb towards Eric Clapton, his pursuit of Paddy Boyd, but I don't know whether that was already happening or not. But it's a totally catchy song. Great George song. Right, number 11. Number 11, picture of Paul, back in the USSR. A lot of people rate this as the best song on the album, but how can it be the best song on the album when it sounds like a Beach Boys song? Now, it's a brilliant Beach Boys song, but it's a Beach Boys song. So to put that inside the top 10 would just seem like wrong to me. It really goes against the grain. Now, I know the words perfectly. I sing along to it all the time. It's a great twist on it, singing about the girls of Mother Russia, but it's not quite there. It's brilliant, but it's not. It's pastiche. It's pastiche. Right, into the top 10. Probably quite John heavy. I'm just, whatever. Right, yeah, number 10. The continuing story of Bungalow Bill. A lot of people hate this. I absolutely love it. Even as a kid, I think as a kid I liked the kind of the nursery rhyme feel to it. And I always took it as an anti-violence song, like anti-hunt song, all of those. I mean, I don't know whether it was intended that. It probably wasn't, but that's what I took it as. Don't kill, don't do all of this, don't kill for fun. That's what I took it as. I don't think Charlie Manson did, but anyway, there you go. Bloody idiot. Right, so number 9, Revolution 1. All about the inner turmoil. Yeah, it's good. I think I probably do prefer the harder, faster version that was the B-side to Hey Jude, but it's still a cracking song. Absolutely cracking song. Can't really go wrong with that. Revolution 1 is a great song. Number 8, So Tired. I think my love for this song is just because of the lines. I'm so tired. How does it go? I've forgotten. But basically, I light another cigarette. Curses Sir Walter Raleigh. He was such a stupid get. I just loved that. Just a brilliant lyric. And that really struck home with me. And I've always loved, always loved So Tired. And I love the way it builds from the pretty quiet verses, and then you get the chorus, which is just full on, grunge, 25 years early or whatever it is. Loud, quiet, there you go. God, they did everything, didn't they? Right, number 7, another nursery rhyme song. There's a lot of it. It was like this album was it was a definite looking back album, looking back sonically, looking back musically, looking back lyrically, and a lot of childhood stuff. But George, Cry Baby Cry, just a great song, just fantastic. It's easily the best George song on the album, and it's probably one of my favourite George songs, full stop. Just love it lyrically, love it musically. I just love it. Right, number 6. Number 6 is a beautiful song, and people slate this one, but I think it's one of Paul's finest songs. One of his finest songs. It's Blackbird. It is just beautiful. I think even as when I first heard it, like when I don't know, when I first dragged the White Album out, but probably 11, 12, probably heard it for the first time. And even then I was like, this is just gobsmackingly beautiful. Just fantastic. Just the images of the bird flying and breaking its bounds. I mean, obviously, who knows? Was it written about the civil rights struggle? I don't know. But whatever, it's just a symbol of breaking free. and it is just fantastic. Right, so top 5 are very John heavy, so I make no apologies for it. But so at number 5, Julia. Oh my God, I've cried to this song. Julia, yeah, he wrote about the loss of his mum, probably with more raw emotion on Plastic Ono Band, but for me, it's just beautiful. That's what a lot of this album is, beautiful, in just heartbreakingly so. And Julia is just such a song of longing. You can just tell how much he misses her. He just misses her. And it's just beautiful. I can relate to that. Number 4, Happiness is a Warm Gun. This might well be up here so high because I really like the Breeders version that was on Pod as well. And yeah, it's, what does it actually mean to me? I don't know whether it means that much. I just really, really like the song. Just a great song. There we go. I'll leave it at that. But it is a brilliant song. Right, number 3. Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except for Me and My Monkey. Come On is such a joy. Don't need to say any more than that. It is just... It makes me feel happy. When I hear Everybody's Got Something to Hide, it makes me want to stand up and bloody jump up and down. It is brilliant. It is a brilliant rock and roll song, and it is joyous. Like a lot of the best songs on this album, a lot of the best ones are just joyous. They're either beautiful and joyous, or they're rocking and joyous. But yeah, fantastic. Number 2, we're back to the beautiful. I've just spat me photo of John. Dear Prudence. What a song. What a beautiful song. I mean, it should have been released as a single and it would have been number 1 for years. Well, it should have been. The way it comes in on that guitar and the way it builds to its climax, and the drumming that Ringo... Oh no, it's not Ringo, is it? Well, anyway, the drumming is just fantastic on it. I don't know who actually played on it. I don't know whether it was John or Paul or whoever did it, but they did a bloody fine job of it. And it swells and it's gorgeous, and it just blows me away every single time. Which leaves my number 1 song on the White Album. After all I've said about this chap and some of the stuff at the bottom end of this ranking, it's Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter should be recognised as one of the greatest rock and roll songs of all time. Not just one of the greatest Beatles songs, one of the greatest songs. Because it, more than anything else, I think, in the late 60s, foreshadowed so much. Now, you've got raw stuff that was coming out all over the place. Hendrix was happening, you had the MC5, you had Iggy a bit later, the Stooges a bit later. You know, just real raw rock was coming out. But this, I'm sorry, but Helter Skelter, I mean, I wrote some notes about this, and where is it? No, it's on the other side here. I mean, the bass playing, fucking hell, and Paul singing. Paul, I don't think, possibly there's a couple of other really good vocal moments in his career, or the Beatles anyway. But for me, the way he sings Helter Skelter rivals the way John sings Twist and Shout, and I'd put them on a level, to be honest. George's guitar is just incredible on it. It's it kind of like the whole thing just twists like perfectly, like a helter skelter, into a maelstrom of noise. Um, the backing harmonies on the chorus, it just builds and builds and builds. Um, it was ahead of its time. It really was, and yeah, it's definitely one of the greatest rock performances of all time. I mean, I'd put it ahead. I'd put it in the top 10 rock songs easily. It should be just recognised as such because I just think it's amazing. And then Paul just, and the way it comes back again, and just the noise, and I mean, there's certain Beatles songs I wish had been covered by other people. I'd love to have heard Only a Northern Song covered by Sonic Youth. Helter Skelter I wish had been covered by My Bloody Valentine, because I think they would have been the only band ever to have done that song justice. But then when you've got the Beatles version, you don't really need a cover of it, to be honest, because it is just brilliant. And top it all, I've got blisters on my fingers. And with that, my rank is done. This is a ruddy long video. I didn't think it would take quite so long. I didn't think I'd witter on so much. But if you have made it through to the end and you have realised what my number one is, well done you. Thanks for persisting, and I hope you really enjoyed watching it, because I've enjoyed listening to this record again, and I will do many more times. So, thanks for watching VC, and I'll see you all again soon.